basis of Transnet's audited RFRs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bobo. Members, are issues of clarity that you may have in relation to the submission? If so, please, by show of hand, let me take your input. Morning, Ms. Maset.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Ms. Bogo, for the highlights. 2 questions for me. The questions relate to the OPEX. If you can clarify to us what is the reason for the increase, or the areas or components of the OPEX that are attributable to this increase. If you can clarify for us that. And then the second thing that we grappled with OPEX was the decommissioning costs that were allowed in the tariff. So if you can clarify for us that, because it seems it's an area where now we are seeing significant increases in costs, not only from PPR, but also from the gas pipeline, the Lily pipeline. Are there any observations made in respect of those costs relating to the OPEX, in particular the decommissioning allowance? As you know very well, that there were shortfalls there and there were issues. If you can clarify that for us. And then lastly, if you make a sort of a conclusion that says that you have, with respect to these RFRs, what do you mean if we already have operational expenses, what we have approved in the tariffs? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Masetti. I do not see any hand. Ms. Boko, do you want to come in and respond to the issues raised by Ms. Masetti?
Chairperson, apologies. My batteries died. I had to switch network, so I missed Ms. Masetti's questions. I just joined back now.
Ms. Masetti, you will
I can repeat quickly.
Okay, I've picked up. Okay, you may proceed, Ms. Masetti.
Thank you, Chairperson. I understand we are also under load shedding. So there are 2 questions. The first one is the observation of the increase in operational expenses. I'm requesting that you clarify for the committee the components of the operational expenses that have increased and why. That's the first question. And secondly, still under operational expenses, your observation on the decommissioning costs that were allowed as part of the tariffs. And as you know, that there was a shortfall and there was still money that was required for the decommissioning cost, which we did not allow or grant the additional allow. With your assessment of ours based on the audited financial information in respect to the decommissioning cost. And then lastly, the question that I have is about the point you made on efficiencies. Like you concluded that you have observed efficiencies. I'm not sure in what areas where you observed efficiencies, especially because the operational expenses have gone up. So you would expect cost efficiencies around operational expenses in the operations. So what do you mean that there are improved efficiencies? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Masetti. Yes, Ms. Boko.
Yes, thank you very much for me. In terms of the OPEX, the elements or that increased or came into that were also considered that were not part of the tariffs determination relate to the costs incurred as a result of the theft incidents. So Transnet in the tariff determination, because they cannot preempt how many incidents will be experienced or tapping of the pipeline. So that's what has predominantly given rise to the operating expenses compared to what was projected at tariff determination stage. And then coming to the decommissioning costs, the decommissioning costs are exactly in line with what was allowed by NESA in the determination of the tariffs for 2021-2022. And remember, Ms. Meseti, what members or what NESA approved was much higher than what they had in the coffers for decommissioning of its DGP was not allowed. So because they did not have the funds in the coffers, the shortfall was not allowed. So even in the RFRs, nation. And then the efficiencies, the improved efficiencies are related, are referred to in line with the efficiency ratios that we analyzed. And the improvement, Chairperson, is in relation to the improved revenues and improved volumes over the years, whilst the OPEX is increasing at a very slight ratio. Because you'd remember that the preceding financial year to the 2021-2022 financial year is 2020-21, which was at at the heart of the COVID pandemic, where the volumes were much lower. So that's what we are relating to. So the efficiency ratios that we looked into, shown on paragraphs 49 through to paragraphs 53. So we checked the accounts receivable turnover and also the asset turnover, and with improved revenues, those efficiency ratios have also improved, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bobo. Ms. Maseti, are you answered?
Chairperson, I'm partly answered, but we can take it offline. The only thing that I think is important for clarification here really is, and also looking at the clawback figure. If you take those two, then one would want to understand the cost associated with theft, of which cost, obviously, from our side, obviously, we need to be certain about the evidence that is before us and also auditing of those costs. Number one. Number two, if we then have included them here, then on what basis are we including them into the clawback and also into the operational expenses? Because I'm not sure if we had a specific item that accommodated those costs. And secondly, one would need to be clarified as to why such costs are not considered under insurance cover that is taken, so that they are recovered from insurance if they were never accommodated as standalone cost item under OPEX. If I can get clarification on that, Chairperson, as a follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bobo. And also, if I heard you, you had said one of the example in terms of the OPEX increases was the issue of theft. And if I recall as well, in the tariff application, there was an indication that the security costs were high. And if you're saying the theft was not the issue of theft was not considered, maybe I'm just missing the point that you were trying to make, and I'm trying to link it with what we were presented with, to say that they had higher security costs, which were meant to cover some of the theft that they were encountering. If you can clarify that for me as well, Ms. Boko, I appreciate it. You may proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, we in the tariff application, we had provided a split in terms of what is paid for upfront, and which relates to issues such as what's covered in the insurance. And what's covered in the insurance is the actual product that's lost, right? And the cleanup of the contaminated land, or that has been as affected by the tampering of the pipelines. So the issues of security and the issues of insurance are then provided for. But then the actual fixing of the infrastructure it also attracts costs that are not provided for in the tariff determination. And this is what has brought about this increase. What I can also do, Chairperson, is maybe as a matter arising, bring back that table for clarity to members, like where we separate what is covered in terms of the insurance and security costs and what is not covered, then claimed later on under OPEX, if that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think that will be fine. Ms. Masetti, as you have indicated initially, that some of the issues can be taken offline. I think as part of the matters further on this particular the points that you have made. Thank you, Ms. Masetti. On that note, I don't see any other hand members. May I then request that we move on to recommendations? The recommendations are on paragraph 58, which is on the green stamped page. Pardon me, I'm just trying to get to recommendations which are for us to note Transnet SOX Limited audited financial 1 April 2021 to the 31st March 2022. It is the RFRs for the petroleum for that particular period. By show of hand, members, can I get an indication that you do support the recommendations? Ms. Hatting, if you could just assist me to get to the recommendations, because my board pad is frozen, but that was the recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Masetti. And I also do support the noting of the of Transnet SOC Limited, which are audited reports for that period 1 April 2021 to 31 March 2022. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Boko. Your submission is noted. On that note, members, we have come to an end of our open